Buttons have been pressed, lights have turned green, and we are all set and ready to go. Another Super Robot Sundays here on Sound Goblin Gaming as we continue our playthrough of SD Gundam G Generation Cross Rays and begin the story of Mobile Suit Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans Gecko, or Steel Moon.
Yeah.
Depends on what it's. You get this weird debate thing going on with the translation where, like, people will either translate it as Mobile Suit Iron-Blooded Orphan Steel Moon, or they will translate it as G-Tekka Gecko. And it's like, who cares? Stop being fucking weebs. Anyways, I am, as always, Bograt.
I am the Krampus.
I'm Shiv.
I'm Vincent, and I'll probably remind you that stop being telling giant robot or real robot series fans to stop being weebs is kind of self-defeating.
There's a difference between being a fan of mecha anime and fucking spurging over fucking translation bullshit. Like these are the same people that piss and moan about the translation using, having Orga call Naze, brother rather than Aniki. It's like, yes, he says Aniki. Fucking get off of it. Anyways, so Gecko is a side story of Iron Blood Orphans.
By side story, we mean it is set in the same universe. It takes place parallel to it, but is not necessarily like.
It's not really connected in any way, other than the fact that it does technically involve other criminal elements, similar to the McMurdo family, but they're not even really related at all.
Yeah, there's no crossover characters.
No. That being said, don't get too invested in this story. It will never finish.
The arcs at least finish in this game.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah. Our technical difficulties.
Okay, and it hyper broke this time, so we gotta kill it and restart it fully.
On the bright side, it should just be a matter of, exactly that thing you just did.
Yep. But yeah, so to kind of explain that a little bit, Iron Blood Orphans Gecko essentially managed to get through, for all intents and purposes, its first major arc, and then got canceled. Because in actuality, despite the fact that you've heard us constantly gush about how really fucking amazing IBO is and how it's honestly just an amazingly good series, Japan doesn't actually like IBO. It was not a very popular series in Japan, and so the side story manga also really didn't have much in the way of readership. So got canceled after 18 chapters.
Which is unfortunate to some extent, because it did feel like the front half was a little on the rough side as well, so I kind of understand a little bit of that. But the back half actually seemed to start actually making better strides, at least as far as panel animation was concerned, than just telling its story via pictures, because God didn't need to with what I was reading, because the fan translation past, I'd say, Chapter 5 is actually kind of atrociously bad, and stops 4 chapters short of what was actually published.
Yeah, so. the fan translation groups, it passed through I think 3 different translation groups over the course of 14 chapters, which is already impressive. And then basically when the news of the cancellation came out, all the groups basically just kind of gave up on it and never bothered translating the last 4 chapters because who cares?
So the best way for anyone who
to experience the story of Gecko is this.
Yes.
play Cross Rays.
I've always found it amusing that the IBO map also includes the impact crater as a...
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Little nod to UC.
Yeah. It's completely unexplained impact crater, but is easy enough to explain this universe.
Calamity War.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much any continental damage can be explained with Calamity War.
Yeah. But we do get a fair number of the other Goetic demon Gundams in Gecko.
And the silhouette of one that we will never see.
Yep.
Oh, I'd love
to. I think that actually might show up in the mobile game. Out of silhouette.
As far as I can tell, it doesn't.
複合企業担当店舗の庭であるアバランチ中域にて宇宙シャトルが航路上にて全壊する事故が発生。その原因は月日が経った今も決して明かされることなく、唯一の生存者となったRGミラージュは孤児として泥水を進む。
As a matter of fact, this silhouette.
Yes.
This is a Gundam. This is the most we will see of this Gundam. This is the most we have seen of this Gundam.
Yep.
傭兵業に従事していく。その目的は自分から全てを奪った存在への復讐を果たすため、鋭い総合を持つ異形の機体に家族の仇を取るためであった。時にポストディザスター323、戦いの神の眠る火星にて小さな反逆の火が灯り始めた時代。これは厄災戦の遺物ガンダムフレームに導かれたもう一つのオルフェンズの物語である。
敵の名はガンダム。
Yeah, that is the Seer.
Yeah.
Is the one that actually attacked the shuttle. And yeah, we do not have an actual image of the Seer ever. There was a different one I was thinking of that showed up in the mobile game.
今回の標的はテッド・モルガトン、通称ダディ・テッド。表向きは
I'll be referring to him as Daddy Ted.
They will absolutely be referred to as Daddy
Oh,
Ted.
they will. We will. At least I will.
地球までの足を独占し
What, you uncomfortable with calling someone daddy?
In very specific settings, no. Not this one. We're already murdering the man. There's no need to make this weird.
Well, somebody's murdering the man.
Yeah, that guy.
This is our main character, RG Mirage.
That's Daddy Ted.
I've turned on my earthquake machine. What do you think of this is?
So yes, this is... So, RG Mirage does odd, illicit jobs for a living. This is actually his first assassination job that he initially turned down until he was told that Ted has a Gundam.
Yep.
One other factoid that we'll get into in a minute is both Ted Morogadon and RG Mirage have artificial right hands. Exact same model.
Yep.
Conveniently, the exact same model. That's Volko Warren, our deuteragonist.
This is Volko Warren. He sucks.
Guy has a hat.
The idea of just tilting the sprite slightly to the right and having it go Uruk is very 2000s Flash.
Yep. And so, yeah, no, RG doesn't actually kill Daddy Ted. He doesn't get a chance to.
No.
Okay then.
Ted actually kind of saves Archie.
If you want to know who does actually kill Daddy Ted, that's great. So does everyone else.
Yeah.
Obviously, red hair.
Well, it depends on the pilot. I could probably get a few people to take on grazes with mobile workers.
Yeah, but that's no Grays. Grazes don't have a sick hat.
That's true.
Hold their knives backwards.
Guess that matters a lot less when your mobile student can just turn your hand 180 for all matters.
Look, if you're going to make up a name for yourself, so am I.
So Vulcan Warren, much like all the orphans in this universe, also went through experimental surgery to be useful enough that they don't just kill him or ignore his existence. Instead of the Vijana system, they just shoved a microchip into his brain.
He's a cyborg.
Yeah, basically. No, he's not that cool.
He's a cyborg guy.
He's got a computer in his brain. He's a cyborg.
Why is everyone gonna be
They put a
orphan?
chip of Encyclopedia Britannica like between his two brain lobes. I don't freak out as a cyborg.
Why can't we have
He also can't
iron-blooded
walk.
children from a loving family?
Then they wouldn't be fucking fighting in mobile suits, especially this universe where it's kind of extra horrible.
Gallarhorn shows that is not true.
Iron-blooded, got to kill whole families, can't leave orphans.
Where are we going to get Gundam pilots if we don't leave orphans?
Gallarhorn has children who apparently come from mostly loving families, if not Ayok, who then become Gundam pilots.
Let's see, there's Galio.
But there's no indication that Gallia had any family trouble. Carta had no real family trouble.
She's not a Gundam pilot.
No, that's true. She's not piloted Gundam. She died before she ever piloted Gundam.
It's unfortunate. I'd actually like to see what the issue Gundam looks like.
Okay, so this is the regular Astaroth. We've been fielding the Astaroth Origin, which is a different one.
Yeah.
Well, technically the same one, just a different configuration. But
The Astaroth in particular, well, the Astaroth Origin is its original setup.
Yeah.
This is Astaroth after 300 years when the family sold off most of the original armor. So it's basically just a rebuilt armor on the original Astaroth ring.
yeah.
Basically, the Warren family, we'll get into it in this, but the Warren family is a disgraced family of Gallarhorn. Gallarhorn, I get the point. And in order to just stay financially afloat, they basically sold off everything but the frame from the Astaroth. Yep.
So keeping in our listings, Astaroth is a great and strong duke coming forth in the shape of a foul angel sitting upon an infernal dragon and carrying on his right hand a viper.
Yep.
Who wants this snake?
There's actually one of the other few goetic demons that are actually kind of just a dude. Argy, who apparently does not recognize that the hat is literally built into the suit.
Doesn't mean you can't rip it off. Hell, ripping pieces off of a suit is pretty valid combat in this universe.
I am a fan of the Astaroth design with the like mismatched,
Yeah.
heavily armored left arm.
Yeah. Asymmetry is kind of a thing with the Astaroth in general.
Street magician ass looking gun. Doesn't even have the common decency to use like 6 knives.
It's really weird that the pilot of the Triana is just a generic guy with blacked out eyes. I think he'd be a pretty significant character with such a unique suit and having killed the crime boss.
Well, you know.
Oh well.
So the other thing about the Astaroth is, while it doesn't have an Alaviana system, it does have an interface for someone who happens to have no natural right hand, but an artificial one. Hence why both Ted and Argy have the exact same right hand, so we can conveniently use it.
Yeah, which is also kind of a weird note because there were implications in base IBO that all of the Gundam frames were set up for the Alaviana system, but the Astaroth outright proves that is not correct.
The Astaroth is kind of weird.
Yeah.
It isn't entirely possible that they were modified afterwards to not use the systems because they just stopped using the Alaviana system.
I mean, it is highly likely that the whole like right hand control scheme thing is absolutely a modification that was made specifically for Daddy Ted, but
yes, that's almost
because it seems kind of
that seems like
seems kind of wild. It seems kind of wildly inconvenient to spend 300 years having the scion of your house chop off their right hand to be able to use your Gundam.
I mean, the Team Fortress 2 engineer did it. Can't be that hard.
Yeah, timeline-wise, this starts basically parallel to IBO, and the second chapter, or the second arc, is basically between Season 1 and Season 2. And there are no arcs past that.
Yeah. Yeah, because the initial incident that it was showing where Argy's family got killed was in 318, which was a few years ago at this point. And yeah, 323 is the actual like current year.
Yeah.
What was your question? I can't hear you over this fucking alarm. Dork.
That seems like a terrible place to hide. If you're wondering why they're talking about Dort again, you can guess where we are in the timeline.
Scum that killed my father, whoever that might be. I'll never let them get away with it. Somebody definitely killed my father.
And here are the Harukais.
And the Hakuris, yes.
Hakuris.
The trash goblin siblings.
Yes.
Look, a hidden Mickey.
I know. I mean, there's like the 2 Hakuris and this half dozen roadie.
They're a roadie variant of some sort, yeah.
Or like 1 shuttle.
As you may imagine, since this also only exists as a manga series, any music you hear here is original music they made for this game.
Yeah.
That being said, the sound team doing their usual quality work, as always. Yeah, is it just me, or does RG look like he has a different art style compared to everyone else? Like, everyone else looks like an IBO character. Or at least close enough. RG, I think it's the eyes.
I mean, shrug. Like, honestly, most of these don't look like the characters from IBO, so.
Yeah, but I can still see, like, the root inspiration for most of them.
He looks like a generic silver-haired anime protagonist.
Fair enough.
Also, it's different because we keep seeing straight-on shots of him rather than the side profile you see for most other characters.
It is also just them interpreting the mangaka's style can get kind of weird, because he's very consistent with the rest of the characters also drawn by that mangaka in the manga, but there's no, like, all the colorations for Cross Rays are obviously done by them. Because with the exception of cover already mostly
Yeah, like
exists
here
in
where
black
we're
and
getting
white.
the side profile, he looks pretty much the same as most other IBO characters.
Yeah.
It is honestly because most of the portraits we've seen from him so far have been front on, which always looks weird on anime characters.
Yep, back to our normal group, because no reason to commit war crimes at the moment.
Well, yeah, they haven't been authorized yet.
Roadies continue to be trash.
Yes, these are specifically spinner roadies.
Yep.
So they are another roadie variant, but again, just a roadie variant. 8.
Variant is a bit weirder in IBO than
Well, they're
other
built off
series
the
because
roadie
it's basically
frame.
built off of a frame, and yeah, it's like technically the Gusion and the Gusion Rebake are even the same frame. It's just that they're wildly different from each other.
Yeah.
Like variants in other universes at least generally have the same silhouette. It's like these don't even
Yuhana,
have to have
a
that.
vision of the future.
I know what you're talking about. It's not like this thing's called the Wall Yuhana.
そのフレームも私たちがもらってあげるよ
And yeah, these are specifically the Hakuri roadies, which are specific roadie frame builds for the Hakuri siblings.
So strangely enough, the Hakuri siblings are fairly easy to access early and actually not terrible characters.
Oh yeah, no, I've had them pretty much the entire time we've been playing this game.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, you get them off of like registering a certain number of suits to your production list,
Yeah.
which is like I think they're one of the earlier ones too. I think they're like 50 or 100 or something.
Yeah. Yuhana is melee focused and Sampo is range focused, and they both have the mercenary ability.
Which makes it very funny that the major change to the Voal Yuhana is that it has a big gun,
Yes.
a long range big gun.
I might have that backwards, but I don't think I do.
I don't remember off the top of my head, and while they're in the roadies, it's pretty much no real difference anyway.
No, they're both basically melee suits.
Well, considering that the skill you get off of defeating Yuhana is melee,
Yeah, okay.
I'm pretty sure you were right there.
Yeah.
Unless they're being really silly.
She also had like the big two-handed axe as opposed to just like the cleaver.
Yeah. Who is they?
I mean, you say that. We have literally established there are multiple criminal families and pirate groups extant in the fucking IBO world. Clearly, Gjallarhorn doesn't actually give a shit.
They do insofar as when they step on the toes of Gjallarhorn. That's about it. Also, seriously, it seems like criminal groups, pirates, and Gjallarhorn are the only organizations actually in IBO.
I mean, there's the 5 economic blocks on Earth that matter
I
on
said
Earth.
criminal organizations!
Fair.
Actually, I take that back. Criminal organizations are more restrained than the 5 economic blocks. It didn't even take them 2 years to go to war with each other. Fucking idiots.
So yeah, then what we also get down here is a Hyakuri, which we have seen once before. That is actually what Laughter initially pilots.
Yeah.
And then a couple of Hyakurens. And then we got the Gildas.
Yeah. Because Tewaz uniquely actually makes mobile frames.
Yes, they do actually construct their own mobile frames, and they one of their businesses is actually selling them to all the various criminal underground organizations and what have you.
Yeah, basically, the only way to actually get mobile frames, or Gallifrey manufactures its own and has leftovers from the Calamity Wars. Tewas manufactures its own, and the vast majority of them are basically just salvage from the Calamity War.
Yeah.
The Roadies were basically built mid-Calamity War, and apparently there was a shit ton of them because they are fucking everywhere. And are basically just are all salvage jobs.
Yep.
And as we've gone over before, the reactors for everything are salvage jobs and are indestructible. So, it's also why nothing in this series actually blows up, strangely enough. Because, unlike the highly unstable nuclear reactors of every mobile suit in normal Gundam.
Yeah.
Which makes for some horrific combat, because
For
basically...
reasons.
Yeah. Which makes for some horrific combat in certain ways, because, yeah, you basically have to, like, dismember every limb off of a mobile suit or crush the cockpit.
Yeah, somehow
in order
disable it without destroying the reactor. Otherwise, bad things.
Yeah. Which, trying to destroy the reactor generally makes it explode anyways, but... Or when they're battery-powered, you destroy the battery, which will also make it explode, which is pretty accurate, actually.
Yeah.
Yep. First mission is quick.
I mean, just in general, most of Gecko is going to be quick. We
Yeah.
literally have 6 scenarios to cover an 18-chapter manga.
Yeah. It is fairly action...
Yeah, there's a lot
But
of
it's
combat,
still-
but it's still 6
Yeah.
scenarios to cover an 18-chapter manga.
Yeah. It actually does a very good job of going over the entire manga in detail without actually being too, alright, set your controller down for an hour and a half while we go
Yeah.
over story. Because they basically had that much space. Take that, Mike.
数奇な開口を経てアルジ・ミラージュは自らの標的であったテッド・モルガトンの娘リアリナ・モルガトンと同行することになった。それは主が復讐のためにガンダムの力を欲したように彼女もまた復讐のため彼の力を欲したからである。
リアリナ・モルガトンは助けた。これからどうするんだ。
それはお嬢次第だ。
決めたわ。
お嬢、
私はお父様の敵を討つ。
Whoever that is.
だからあなたたちも力を貸して。
俺がダディ・テッドから頼まれたのはお嬢
All
の
right, so
安全です。
so judging by his mobile suit, it's probably a guy in a hat.
私の命も狙われてる以上、相手を突き止めやっつけることが一番の安全よ。
Yeah, but I'll never be able to recognize him. His face was covered in shadow.
テンプの頭目が暗殺されたんです。相手は身内の可能性も高い。
That's a being inside job is 100%.
Says it being inside job beyond likely, but like I don't know.
おい、ご来日って。
Real hard to narrow it down. We're only going to see like 2 other members of Tanto Tempo.
3.
自分よいしんな。
Oh yeah.
ブブリオインシン
You're making that up.
You have no right to say that, Mr. Mirage.
Dude is named like a spell in a Dragon Quest game.
数年前までテッド
What do you think the Burburio spell does?
Summons burritos.
Washes things.
長年の信頼を頼りにブブリオの見解を尋ねるべくリアリナたちはアバランチ
Ah, the China variant. It's a bubble bath.
その選択さえすでに黒い影の
One of the few things we do actually get a little bit of in Gecko, and I mean everything in Gecko is a little bit because it's 18 fucking chapters. But it is actually interesting to see a little bit more of the sort of colony structure in the IBO world.
Yeah.
Because like we really only get like Dort in the base series.
Yeah, we get Dort in the base series, and otherwise we get like one of the economic blocks on Earth, and we get Mars. Although, in truth, we get like a section of Mars that
Yeah, but like here we actually get to see like, oh, well, no, there actually are numerous space colonies that are actually like doing things and
Yeah.
kind of have their own structure too, and for the most part aren't really directly involved in the whole like Earth Mars conflict thing, but also have their own sort of independence movements going on.
yeah, they're fairly autonomous. It's back to the whole nation state is a lot weaker a concept in IBO than it is in every other series or every other universe in Gundam.
Yeah.
Where basically the majority military is Gallarhorn, which itself is not actually even a nation state. It is just a peacekeeping force.
It's
thingy.
basically like if the UN peacekeeping force were actually functional.
Yeah. But at the same time, does not actually use said military power to govern a damn thing.
No.
And is also highly corrupt, so tends to take bribes from basically everyone. Or other elements of it are corrupt, and elements of it are just kind of there.
Yeah.
And the economic blocks on Earth, who ostensibly are governments, but in reality should never be trusted with a squirt gun, apparently.
Listen, in my defense, your father was going to die there one way or another. Me being there just means somebody was able to pilot the Astaroth.
This is certainly a trustworthy person. No, you shouldn't. Woman.
You need to get better allies.
John Market Salami guy.
We promise you there are 6 of them.
Me too. I think. I'm actually not positive whether the other one is.
I think he is. Yeah.
Okay, fair, it's not that important. It's like 7 stars at Gallagher. Technically they're there, but really only like...
We have no idea how important they may or may not be.
Yeah. We get their names only because they're talking heads in a couple scenes. It's... Rosario Leone, that's a name I can trust. I would say something about having 6 as, in a voting organization is an awful idea because it's very likely to lead to ties.
Yeah.
But then again, there was also the head, so that would have made 7. So
It's actually a plot point more frame. Hyper-capitalist empire, and that's putting it lightly, had a big leader who was the head of the corporation, and intentionally, when he died, made a rule so that there could only be 6 people in the council, so that it would be eternally deadlocked. Because none of them...
you still... That wouldn't necessarily lead to eternal deadlock even if they don't get along, because...
It does if they're actively murdering each other behind the scenes.
that couldn't... That doesn't help, but at least when it comes to any decision that actually needs to be made, hypothetically, you still have 4 to 2 votes.
An entire plot point resolves around there's a...
Well, see, what you have to understand is in this particular instance, you don't have 4 to 2 votes. You have 1 to 1 to 1 to 1 to 1 to 1 votes.
Yeah. Entire plot point revolves around there's a dead man clause in system of government where if you can prove you're related to the CEO, get an extra vote and can break deadlock ties.
Ah.
Nobody is, but one guy fakes it.
Ah.
Until you literally go and a man out of the void between space and time. Turns out to be the CEO who got stuck there.
So what you're saying is they made 6 organizations that masquerade as one and just...
Basically, yes. 6 organizations at one, all that worship profit like a religion, and who hold the CEO as a god of profit. And when he comes back, because he's the god of profit, he gets to take over everything. Because he wrote the original contract.
Is our government above them?
Huh?
Is our government above
No.
them?
No.
Okay, that's...
The only counter...
Warframe doesn't pretend to make sense. Don't worry
Okay.
about it.
I'll also point out that's not capitalism, but that's a different matter entirely. Since they are effectively the government.
It is also worth noting that they quote-unquote profit in a currency that mostly only they as a corporation recognize.
Yes. They have their own currency called Granum. Nobody else takes it except for the corpus. You have to understand, they're not
So
government. They're one side in a 3-sided war that includes also bat-grown tube men who are insane because of the excess of cloning.
So what you're saying is they're communism in practice as opposed to communism in ideal.
Sort of, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Or what if we could make the most ridiculous parody of corporate excess and greed? And then just kind of snowballed from there.
I didn't really even think about this in function.
Well, in function, the only way it works is because they've got a war economy. Because the system is perpetually at war with the clone men and the flood from Halo.
With worse things, you say? How is this awful government continue in existence? Because everyone over there is even worse.
Yes.
Ah, the
We
Imperium
disagree with this.
conundrum.
We flood people think everyone should be equal.
Everyone is equal in the biomass tanks.
You've completely defeated your own compelling argument. Congratulations.
We actually promote a sensible economic policy.
I mean, that's okay. All of this really only takes place solely because the hyper-advanced technological precursor civilization vanished without a trace and were assholes before they left.
They came back.
Somehow this is still less dumb than Starship Troopers.
No, precursor civilization was largely wiped out by their own kids.
Yes, and which ones weren't wiped out, vanished without a trace,
Yes.
but were assholes before they left. And so now everyone is like, well, we have to make sure they never come back, and the best way to do that is by kicking the shit out of each other for eternity, apparently.
Well, everybody's fighting over the remnants of the Orokin. Because all that's left are their ships and the god-awful technology they left behind. Alright, so what security system are we going to have for this remote base that, like, mines asteroids? Well, anything that walks inside is going to be lobotomized and have its body used as a robotic puppet. Via nigh magic mind control. That
So-
causes ego death.
So by awful, you mean horrifying.
Yeah,
Okay.
awful and horrifying.
Yeah.
It's okay. Someday we'll play Dark Sector on stream.
Hey, just wait until that next expansion comes out. Then we'll be playing Dark Sector in Warframe. Yeah, the Orokin are a rare combination of we created technology that's horrifying in concept, and we're also massive assholes, so we're gonna be horrifying in practice.
In our defense, we put a sign on the door that says trespassers will be lobotomized.
Oh, well, in that case, no,
It's
that's
not our
something.
fault you can't be Orokin.
All right, now to move that container ship.
Hey, there's still one alive up here.
Okay.
Now to move that container ship. I'm not sure how you fail the secret condition on this mission, honestly.
Get to move it, I think, because that was the secret condition, wasn't it?
Yeah, just
Certain
make
amount
it
of
there
time.
in like 5 turns.
Yeah. They're specifically moving away from enemies,
Yeah.
so it's actually harder if you don't.
Yeah, you would have to like not advance any of your forces and just let them like, but then like you fail the mission if the container ship doesn't reach it at all. Like,
Yes, the Labrases, which are also built off the roadies. You can tell by the eyes, actually. Frame.
well, and also the fact that like 10 minutes ago they said they were built off the roadies.
That's it, yes. So if you weren't paying attention to the dialogue on screen, yes, they're built off the roadies.
Yeah, that is specifically when they were like, "How can you tell it's Giancarlo?" And they explicitly were like, "Well, those are Labrases, which are a special like roadie modification that Giancarlo makes."
In general, you can tell what frame it is based on the
Yes.
yeah, eye profiles. This is also kind of a sub-theme of the series. Hey, that has Astral parts on it. Go kick his ass.
Yep.
What the fuck are the odds of anything with an Astral part in this universe specifically fighting them?
Well, you see, it's like Highlander rules. Immortals are drawn to each other.
Something Ahab waves. This is my bet. Go, everyone else on the ship.
Pretty much. I haven't actually played through this mission, so I wasn't sure, but I was pretty well figuring, like, oh, they're going to open up the other side of the board, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going to leave this over here.
It's been a while, so I can remember one way or the other, but yeah. Seems like something that would do. Yes, this is actually a three-sided fight.
Yep.
By three-sided, it means it doesn't matter if
Is
you
it
get
though?
through. It's really a one-sided fight in the sense of we're just going to beat down everyone before they get a turn, but...
Also, to show it off, since it actually has the rest of its gear now.
返してもらうぜアスタロトの体をな
This is the Callisto, which I actually quite like the design of.
Yeah. Take that, Callisto pilot.
おいおいどうしたそれで精一杯なのか
Not positive whether they can even come up with positive numbers if they do hit the Grey Murray.
Probably not.
Wasn't that cute? They got off the ship.
Bye.
Yeah.
This is the case, by the way. Extremely like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I don't need the XP or the money at this point. Capturing them made it shorter. That's literally the only reason why I captured.
I think it just ends if you have.
Yes, if they are sacrificed, but it's like as long as they're there, I may as well.
Capturing is also a lot rarer in this game than is in Genesis.
But yeah, because also in Genesis, like the special units that would pop in if you killed the leader of that unit, the other two would
surrender.
So you could capture them. It was also more necessary in Genesis because that was really how you generated most of your money.
Yeah.
Because you didn't just have dispatch missions; you could send things on for 6 hours and get like 300,000 credits.
Yeah.
We'll see capturing come up a bit more as well when we go back and do Overworld. That runs more similar to how Genesis runs.
Actually, I assume dispatch missions are pretty much just this game.
Yes, dispatch missions were a new thing that were added for Crossrays. They might be in the games going forward. We don't know. Since the only game that's been announced post Crossrays is a mobile gacha game, which still has also not actually manifested after like a 1-day beta. And at this point may never actually come out.
Saying weird up with it that wouldn't? Or
Huh?
is there saying weird up with it that wouldn't? Or
No, it's just been like 2.5 years, and literally the only thing we've seen of it was a 1-day beta. Like, quite literally, SD Gundam G Generation Eternal got announced while we were playing fucking Genesis. Like when we came back from our break to do the second part of what has been termed Genesis Rebirth arc on our channel.
yes.
Eternal was announced during that period, and we have seen literally nothing of it since. And like, while it may take a long time to develop games for like console stuff, mobile games usually you do not see go dark for that long.
Yeah, sure enough.
Mobile games very typically you see like announced, and then usually within 3 to 6 months are active. And if they're a mobile gacha game, or especially a mobile gacha battle royale, within 8 to 12 months they're defunct again.
Well,
Less if it's managed by Square Enix.
I like a lot of things in those type of genres. The popular ones print money, and the unpopular ones die quickly. Like your controller.
Cord.
その後アスタロトは裏の市場に出回っていったらしいというのがボルコの知るすべてであるらしいとすべてはダディが知らせてくれたことだその関係上タント店舗とオーレン家は古くからつながりがあってその家の息子が アスタロトを取り戻そうと躍起になっているのを見るに見かねたんだ。期待ともどもダディが俺を拾い上げてくれたんだ。ただ再会した時、アスタロトは体を奪われフレームだけの姿になっていた。以来俺はアスタロトを元の姿に戻すために生きている。
それは何のためだ？
さあな、これが俺にとっての復讐なのかもしれん。そのためにボルコは脳に情報チップを埋め込むという危険な手術をも行い、担当店舗の一人として働く。
Giving him all the knowledge of Wikipedia.
世の機体ガンダムに復讐を誓う者、そして家族が残した機体ガンダムの再生を糧に生きる者。技術も知識も力さえ持たない者たちが生き抜くために何かを犠牲にする覚悟が必要だったのである。
Also made it so he can't walk without his cane even in zero gravity.
Don't ask questions.
謀略のアスタロト。
Didn't even last a turn, you shit stain, which based on the time scale of this is either like a minute or 10 minutes or I don't know. One turn is a time unit in this world, apparently.
Well, yeah, it's exactly how long it takes Cordelia Ina Bernstein to turn around in a circle one time. What? Rosario Leone is not trustworthy. Who would have seen that coming? Of course I'm not shocked. Your name's in red. Technically, that no way is correct.
No, I actually just wanted to know how his family was doing. He read way too much into it.
Do you also find it interesting that Tanto Tempo is actually modeled off more of the Italian mafia?
Yes.
Teiwaz was modeled after the Yakuza, basically.
Yakuza, yeah.
Except for Jazzly.
I mean, organizationally.
Yeah.
The thing here is this is all stupid too. He literally could have been like, all right, well, I'll try and see if I can't arrange a meeting with you to meet, Gianmarco before the meeting, but I can't guarantee anything. He's kind of his own dude, but I'll try.
Yeah.
And then she just back him anyways.
He's not actually good at this.
No. Just like he extremely played his hand like an idiot. It's like, well, she's asking to see Gianmarco. Well, I guess the jig is up. Like,
Yeah, I get the feeling that they now basically planned all of this, and Leon is just going along.
yeah. I mean, it's fine. We'll never actually know.
As an aside, this scene takes place in a car, so this
Yes.
extra.
That's a roomy car.
Yeah.
A lot of space in there.
Jeans.
No, the microchip in my brain malfunctioned and blew a hole out of my kidney. What the fuck do you think happened?
Hired you, kidnapped your sister. And...
I'll pay you for your sister if you do this for me.
I think technically by the legal definitions of this world, it would be stolen and not kidnapped because they're human debris and therefore not actually people.
I don't know if human debris is an actual legal condition or just people being pieces of shit.
The way they talk about it, it seems like it's an actual legal
Yeah.
definition.
Again, statehood is kind of loose and the law is like
Yeah.
enforced by Gallarhorn when it feels like it. So
It just seems that the implication is some degree of like sort of slavery or indenture of some sort.
there doesn't seem to be any actual legal contract behind it per se.
Yeah.
It's more just a, listen, you can do what I say, or what the fuck else are you going to do?
Yeah, it becomes the distinction between, because there are human debris in CGS, and then there are non-human debris in CGS, and they actually do make a distinction between the two of them. Is the only reason why I think there is actually something more to it than just people being a piece of shit.
They're also not like marked in any way, so it's
No,
like,
but
Yeah, the wiki doesn't have any qualifiers on the legality of human debris, but human debris are specifically orphans sold into slavery and treated, and their basically their value is that of space debris, as opposed to people who weren't sold into slavery, so they're slaves.
they're slaves, but they're slaves in the sense that they're basically press ganged. Like if they get away from the pirates, I don't think there's anything that's going to shove them back into or the Brewers, for example. If those kids got away from the pirates, there's nothing that's going to shove them back into the pirates' custody.
No, but they'll probably just get sold again.
Entirely possible, because they're just kids and you can just pick them up and sell them. Because, again, there's also no strong state, so there's no one to stop you from doing that.
I wonder who could be piloting the Vol.
I mean, anyone's mutton chops.
Also, we got new gear on the Astaroth.
Yeah. Call the gun. We know there's only space in the cockpit for her to sit on his lap. As it turns out, Gundams are not meant to hold more than one person.
Just given it had like the 72th throw, there's probably like a 2 or 3 person Gundam out there.
Probably, considering how many there are. Oh yeah, there's one person in the head and then one person in each of the paws that are going around the wheel.
John Market Salami, thank you very much.
Because it's shown up now, the Voile appears in the form of a camel that after a while changes shape into a man.
It's worth noting that like 95% of the Goetic demons appears as blank.
Then changes into a man.
Into a man.
Yeah.
A bunch of nonsense. That changes it.
Also meet Vil Klasan. He'll be more important in the next arc. Klasan, your point.
We definitely did that for reasons.
Certainly.
I understand we'll never get an explanation of the reason why they decided to ruin his family, but even if you're about to kill him, why would you tell him that?
The man is mustache twirling evil.
Look how bad they are at actually killing people. Do you want to give up any information that could leak out?
It is just extremely funny to me how many plot threads they dropped in 18 chapters.
Yeah,
Because, like, there are so many plots going on in Gecko.
there are. Yeah, they don't get to the end of that one either.
No.
Actually, we don't get into most of them with only 18 chapters, so...
I think it's probably just those two in the main one. Like, who was in the suit with a hat? The Gundam Seer and that guy.
Also, I don't think we ever find out who it was that hired Mirage.
Yeah, but you assume all that is kind of based on the same thing.
Maybe.
But yeah. Like the original circumstances of the assassination, which, judging by the laws of plot contrivance, would probably have something to do with Gundam Seer as well.
Probably. But it's like, who was in the hat suit? Who hired Mirage? literally anything about Gundam Seer other than it showed up 5 years ago and fucking destroyed a passenger ship.
Yeah.
Why did they bother?
It has a claw on its right arm,
Yeah.
or a claw for her right hand.
Yeah, like why did they want to like frame and disenfranchise the Warren family?
Gross.
Yeah, I don't think they explicitly show the Gianmarco's yeah, they don't show Gianmarco's lover in the scene. He actually just likes him older.
Yeah.
So, strangely enough, he's not actually a bad guy.
No, like it doesn't help that Leorina looks like she's like 12.
Yeah, that doesn't help either. She looks older in the manga just by virtue of.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
even that
not
she
being
is
a
like
headshot,
she
but
is like
still,
mid-teens.
She is mid-teens.
Gianmarco's like, no, you're a child.
Which is uncharacteristic of a character in an anime, practically. No.
My one and only character motivation.
Okay, so they skipped it because they didn't want to do yet another suit-on-suit single mission. But I'm surprised they didn't even cover it. In order to get Gianmarco to agree, they actually duel each other. Because Gianmarco is a hot-headed pilot guy. So the Astaroth and Gianmarco's suit actually get into a duel. They fight to a tie, and he basically just agrees to help them.
Yep.
It should be noted, Johanna was actually, because of the first battle, she was also barely beat up. So Gianmarco actually, in his kidnapping of her, had her healed and actually treated her well the whole time.
Yeah.
Basically put her in one of the healing vats that they have in this universe. God, that's a common sci-fi trope.
Yeah.
Someone come up with something else by this point. Oh, don't worry, I don't think that's going to be an issue.
It looks nothing like a camel.
I mean, he can.
You haven't moved.
You can admit a lot of things. Uh,
What's up?
so because it disappeared and before we really got a chance to glance at it, the now was piloting a suit called the Adler,
Yeah.
which is actually built off the Grace of all things, but is like 1.5 times the size. So basically, think Ainz.
I mean, it's still right
Oh, it
here.
is
We're
right
gonna still
here.
see it when I blow it
Oh,
up.
never mind.
We're gonna still see it when Mask blows it the fuck up in a second here.
Never mind. I thought she actually disappeared from the board when we kill.
No, she sticks around.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah. In any case, that is the Adler. It is basically a bigger Grace, so think
Yeah.
of like Ainz suit effectively. Destroy all enemies at this point, I assume.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's the Adler as it blows up.
Yep. Yeah, it's been a very long time since I've played this mission in the manga. No, she just ganks him.
Yeah, she just
fucks
fucking
right
leaves.
off.
Yeah.
Well, there was suicidal enough to actually attack.
Really, they just need a system that checks your like character, or your suit and pilot levels, the enemies, and just lets you go. Okay, this fight is over.
Yeah. So this is like, there's 5 grazes left.
Like, they could
Just
borrow
like-
from like Dynasty Warriors Gundam and have just like a morale meter once enough people die.
especially the most significant units, because like 0 grazes.
Yeah.
That's-
Then on the off chance someone raised the argument about like, oh, well, what about the XP and the money you get from it? You could just have a system that awards you XP and money at the end of a battle for your units based on what was left on the battlefield time they went.
yeah.
And, you know, XP, well, money you get regardless. XP would just be split between everyone you deployed
Yeah.
Yeah.
for retreated units.
And considering this game, XP is a joke in the first place. I mean,
Yes.
the ability to send people off on timed,
Deployment missions, yeah.
yeah.
Makes, honestly, both XP and money negligible at best as far as actual rewards go. Like, hell, have it be, instead of like trying to like calculate like, oh, here's like an XP value and a money value for everything left on the field, have it literally just be like, oh, you get one of those things that reduces a deployment mission by 30 minutes for every unit left on the field.
Yeah.
That basically just goes like, yeah, you would have killed them, no problem. Here, take half an hour off of a deployment mission instead.
Yeah.
One of the many things I need to my finances clear up is I need to get another controller for the computer here.
The controller isn't the problem.
Oh,
It's
just the cable.
the cable and like connector. It's what happens to all micro USBs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But saying, if you're concerned about controller, it's another one right there.
That one, I'm pretty sure the battery is just full on dead on though, because that's the one that like doesn't seem to hold a charge no matter how much we charge it.
The PS5 controller work?
Yes.
Okay. But also too, GameCube controllers up here.
And I have more controllers.
Yeah.
We have plenty of controllers, so
Yeah, what you call it,
there's an
Xbox
Xbox
controller.
One controller. Those,
There are plenty of controllers that we can just hook up to the PC.
yeah.
I mean, we've got plenty of time too. The next game we're playing is actually on the PS4, so
Yep. The next game will actually be using a PS4 controller.
and we'll be at that for a few months. So
Yeah. Yeah, SRW games that aren't 30 aren't the longest things in the world, but they're not short by any measure.
yeah, there's still like usually around 50 scenarios, and while at the early part we can usually get through like 3-ish a session,
Or 4 or 5 even.
depending on how early or how short they are.
Yeah.
When we get to the tail end, it will start being like 2.
Yeah. Like the earlier scenarios are going to go quick because they're just
Well, the first couple usually take a little bit longer because they do a lot of world building in them to establish stuff.
yeah.
But then the actual like combat section of them is usually not that long.
No. We also have some series in there that are going to be very simple when it comes to the world building, so...
What you talking about? The deeply complex cosmology of Cross Ange.
The half-hour backstory of Wataru.
Be the first Super Robot Wars game to ever begin with a child roller skating to elementary school.
I don't remember that's like the first or second series to show up, but it is like one of the earliest actually, is Wataru.
I think it is like the first series. I
Yeah.
think the base series for X is Machine Hero Wataru.
Yeah, Wataru is the first series.
Great if the whole game takes place just between Wataru levels with everything else added in.
Yeah, and we unlocked Liorina Morrigan and Gianmarco Salerno.
Yep.
Which, like, by the way, they have his actual suit in here, even though we skipped the duel. And with that, we're going to go ahead and call it today for Super Robot Sundays here on Sound Goblin Gaming. A little bit early, but not really enough time to squeeze in anything else of significance. So join us tomorrow as we continue our playthrough of the Pokemon Scarlet Wonder Trade. We'll be back here on Thursday, continuing more shenanigans in Quest for Glory as we resume that series run through. And then right back here next Sunday as we do probably the back half of Gecko, honestly.
Yeah.
There's only three more missions left in Gecko, and while it will be a little bit longer as it gets towards the end, it being a side story, they're still not nearly as long as the actual series stuff tends to be. So we'll should be able to get through them pretty easily. And then after that, we'll have probably just one more session of... Depends upon how much I want to go into, if I wanted to like even show off even one of the expansion stages, because these are a pain in the ass. But yeah, until then, I've been Bograt.
I've been the Krampus.
I've been Shiv.
And I'm Vincent.
Have a good one, everyone.